Hello everyone, it is AK Orion, Ace Orion. I am back with you for an amazing lesson. Today we are going to cover one of my favorite instrumentals that I grew up with that comes off of the self-titled debut album of Kiss, Ace Frehley of course. This is the love theme from Kiss. This lesson is how to play the love theme from Kiss off their first album. Again, just to reiterate that. And what we are going to cover today is the main theme, the fills in between, and all the rhythm parts. All the way up until the end, and then the fade out. Alright? So, we are tuned to E flat. And I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my low E and my A string. Alright? So that you can tune up and play along. Here we go. And the A. No, sorry. Alright everyone, so here is what we are going to initially do. And one thing I want to mention really quick is I have my toggle switch on the neck pickup. I'm using my Boss Katana. No delay this time, a tad of reverb. My setting is the lead channel. The gain is all the way up. The treble is all the way up. The bass and the mids are at about 11 o'clock, alright? And my master volume is probably on almost 3 o'clock, alright? So, what we're going to initially do with these first two phrases of the theme is we're going to hit the open E, like so. Now we're going to go to the D string on the 6th fret and then hammer on to the 7th fret of the D. And we're picking, okay, you know, here's what I mean, watch. Like that. So what I meant by picking, we're picking the first note is what I meant to say. And then hammering on. This is what I was trying to say. I don't know what happened there. Mind fog for whatever reason. Sorry everyone. Alright, now we're going to go down to the G string and do the same thing. Pick the note for the 6th fret, hammer on with your middle finger to the 7th fret. The difference is, at the end of this phrase, we're going back to the 6th fret on the G. Let me show you what I mean. Very simple. This is very beginner friendly, by the way. So, if there's any beginner guitar players out there, this is a perfect lesson for you. And it's a killer song. Very awesome, I have to say. Alright, now, second part of the phrase. Things change a little bit. I have to be honest, I did struggle with this for a little bit, trying to figure out what exactly he was doing. Alright, now that I have, I'm going to try to break this down and simplify it as much as possible, the best I can. Alright, so we're going to hit the low E. Now we're going to go again to the D string from the 6th fret to the 7th fret with that hammer on. And we're going to do the same thing on the G, once again. Except the difference is we're going to pick it one additional time. Here is what I mean. Like that. After the hammer on, pick it once, And then on the D, same thing. And then we're going to go to the A on the 6th and hammer on to the 7th. And then hit the open, or no, then we're going to go to the fill. All right, so this is what this is going to sound like all together. We're going. One more time. Now, there is a fill after that main theme. We are going to go from the 7th fret on the A to the low E string on the 5th fret and the low E string on the 7th fret. Then we're going to go on the A string on the 4th fret, A string on the 5th fret, A string on the 6th fret, A string on the 7th fret, and slide out. That together in context will be this. All right. Now we're going to repeat the first two phrases of the main theme, and then we have a different fill. All right. And let me show you what that is. That fill is going to be, we're going to go from the 7th fret on the A, 6th fret on the A, 5th fret on the A, low E string on the 7th, low E string on the 5th, low E string on the 3rd, and then open, and then back to the main theme. Here's what I mean. Now, the last fill is the first fill. The very first one we did, which will be 7 on the A, 5 on the low E, 7 on the low E, and then the chromatic pattern on the A string. 4th fret on the A, 5th fret on the A, 6th fret on the A, 7th fret on the A, slide out. So, once again. Now, I don't know if they'd call this a bridge part or a break. I'm not sure. I'm not a music theory guy, so I don't know what they would refer to this as. But here is the next part. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bar the D like a double stop or a dyad. Okay, on the 7th fret, the D and the G string, and we're going to pick each of those notes independently, distinct from one another, even though we're barring them, so it'll be... See that? So I'm going... D to G on the 7th fret. Then we're going to go back to the D on the 7th fret, but this time, the second time, we're going to go to the G string on the 5th fret. Then we're going to go back to the D string on the 7th fret, and we're going to go to the B string on the 5th fret. So in other words, we're doing this. This is that whole sequence that I just explained. Now, the third time, we're going to go back to the first, which is just the D and the G on the 7th fret. So, now we're going to do that one more time. That whole phrase, that whole sequence. Now, this is where that ends. We're going to go from the G on the 5th fret, the D on the 7th fret, and then the D on the 3rd fret. So after the 2 times of this, now we're going to grab the low E on the 12th fret and slide all the way down to the nut. Okay? Now, what's going to happen is all of that repeats. Then we're going to go to the heavy ending. At least I think it's heavy. This is pretty dark for Kiss at the time, almost Black Sabbath-y. Very Sabbath-ish. Okay? So, what's going to happen now is, after you repeat all of that, now you're going to go to the 3rd fret on the A, 2nd fret on the A, and the 3rd fret on the low E, and slightly bend it, and then hit it open. And then you're going to go to the 12th fret of the B and the 12th fret of the high E, barely touching those strings with the innermost part of your middle finger, because you're going to do 2 harmonics. All right, so that's going to go like this. One more time. Now, you're going to do that 3 more times. So. Now, after the 3rd time, you're going to grab the G string on the 4th fret, and you're going to do basically what I refer to as an Albert King, meaning as you're bending it up, you're going to be striking that note in different positions of the bend, and then start coming down and do the same thing. And then following that, you're going to simply pull off from the 4th fret while keeping your index finger on the 2nd fret, pull off with that. Again, one of Ace's notorious licks. We call it an Ace-ism. All right? So here's what I mean. We're going to go like this. See that? So that last part. So. Okay. So he's trilling off of this G string from the 4th fret to the 2nd fret, but with both fingers, like Jimmy Page does in Heartbreaker off of Led Zeppelin 2, very much like that. All right, now you're going to go back to the main thing. And it just fades out. All right, everyone? So I hope you really thoroughly enjoyed that lesson. This is one of my favorite tracks from Kiss. It's one of those deep cuts. I love the deep cuts. And it's instrumental. And I think it's pretty dark and pretty heavy. I've always loved it. So please smash that like. Ring that notification bell, subscribe, and as I had mentioned earlier, please check out my other YouTube channel with my cover songs, right? Which are God of Thunder, Dark Light, both from Kiss, and Believer from Ozzy Osbourne with none other than the master Randy Rhoads. So if you go to YouTube and just type in A.K. Orions, like possessive, personal possessive, ORION''S, and then Lucifer's Magic. It will bring it up, and it will be those 3 songs. Check them out. I think you will thoroughly enjoy them. The recordings are amazing. Once again, Dylan Andros did the recordings for me. From Mutilation Barbecue, the speed metal band Assault, and Olagia. Dylan is awesome at recording. I'm very pleased. So, yeah, man, check those out. I think you'll dig it. Have a great one. Once again, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed this lesson as much as I did, because Ace is God. Ever since I'm like this, he's the one that made me want to pick up this instrument in the first place. He made me have the desire and the drive to want to play guitar. So you guys take care, have a good one, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you very much, and have a great one, everyone. Thank you.